In the heart of Umuadi, a village known for its rich traditions and powerful deities, lived a woman named Umawani. She was gifted with the gift of sight from childhood and can perceive things beyond the physical realm. If she predicts that something will happen, it will be just as she had said. The oracle has declared that the gods had blessed her with a gift, and what the purpose was for would be made known in time as it pleased the gods. Umawani's parents were poor, but their lives got better as their daughter used her gift to help people in the community. Those she helped often brought gifts in the form of food, money, and property. The oracle had requested that Umawani's gift should not be used for business. When the village's seer passed away, the gods chose Umawani to take her place, making her the youngest and most revered seer Umuadi had ever known. Umawani excelled in her new role as the seer of Umuadi. However, she harbored a secret, a darkness buried deep in her heart, a darkness that would later surface and, if unchecked, would swallow the whole village. Years ago, her parents had died under mysterious circumstances. Their bodies were found by the riverbank, their faces twisted in agony, with no sign of what had killed them. The elders called it a misfortune, an act of unseen forces, and the case was abandoned. But Umawani knew better. The whispers of the spirits told her the truth. Her parents had been murdered, and the ones responsible walked freely among the villagers. She had tried telling the elders what she heard, but they had ignored her. Umawani was deeply hurt and sorrowful. If it had been about their families, they would have believed me. Now it is about my parents, and they choose what they see over what I see and hear, she muttered to herself. I must solve this myself. Those who hurt my parents must pay. Her resolve was strong, unspoken, and deadly. Unable to seek justice through the mortal world, Umawani grew frustrated. I must avenge my parents no matter the cost, she vowed. To reach her goal, she turned to the spirits. Humans may not be on her side and may never be able to help her, but the spirits were always with her, even when she wished they would leave her alone. So she decided to venture deeper into the unseen world. Umawani made pacts with spirits. Even darker ones came calling, and she accepted, offering her soul for vengeance. She was determined, and as such, she embraced the unseen realm wholeheartedly. The spirits answered her call and gifted her with enhanced sight. But as every gift comes with a price, this was no exception. Umawani became an instrument for retribution and a channel that the dark powers used to spread doom. Her power would be used to destroy those who harmed her, but she had no control to how it would be used, nor could she decide when to stop. As a villager seer, Umawani was highly revered and her words were law. People came to her for guidance, for blessing, for hope, and for protection. But for the families of those who had taken her parents, she was their doom. Under the guise of her seer's duty, she manipulated their destinies with ease, shrouding her malice in the veil of divine wisdom. No one ever expected the harm she inflicted. Umawani had designed her revenge, nurtured her plans, and patiently waited to execute the process. Through the spirit's guide, she had identified that there were 5 families involved in the misfortune that claimed her parents. Mazi Okeke, Mazi Okemini, Mazi Oshaka, Mazi Mbala, and Mazi Okonko. These families had a standing allegiance in Umuadi. Anything that affects one affects all, and they always joined hands to fight their enemies. Whenever someone had an issue with one of these, he was sure to lose, as the others would stand behind their own. Everybody knew this and avoided conflict with them. Umawani's parents had a land dispute with Mazi Mbala. And that was no news. After their death, Maazimbala's family had claimed the land, and the elders looked the other way. She had a feeling that some of the elders had their suspicions about what befell her parents, but none dared to air their thoughts. Vengeance must be served, she muttered to herself when she saw Maazi Okeke and his wife bringing their son for protection. They wished the gods to fortify him. He had grown into a strong young man and would be in the coming of age ceremony the next season. This ceremony would make him eligible to own lands and to marry. Mawanyi smiled as she thought of the irony. They want me to fortify him so he can excel and they can live happily, protected and in wealth. Or they forget that they took my parents and left me alone in this world. She chuckled. Nanyi Okeke, the gods be with you, she responded to their greeting. The seer performed her libation to the gods. Then to Okeke's son, she gave the wrong charms for protection, leaving him vulnerable to spiritual attacks. Within weeks, the boy fell ill, his body wasting away, and despite the village healer's efforts, he never lived to see the coming of age ceremony. A similar fate befell Maazimbala's only daughter, Adamma. Mawanyi prescribed a ritual that would grant her wealth and respect in the community. But the ritual was laced with an act that bound her to an entity from the other world. The being that was bound to Adamma whispered in her ears every now and then, making her do strange things until it drove her to madness. One night, Adamma wandered into the forest and was never seen again. One by one, misfortune struck the families of those responsible for Mawanyi's parents' deaths. Accidents, unexplained sickness, and sudden death spread through the families, each mourning her own, so that they never came together to plan anything again. The grief was overwhelming. However, Maazi Okemini's family remained intact. Rumors began spreading that he had turned against his people and the pact made by their forefathers to keep the families together had been broken. Maazi Okemini did his best to dispel the rumors, but even his friends and families were beginning to doubt him. He did his best to support the other four families in this moment of crisis. To clear his name, Maazi Okemini appeared before the elders to answer to the accusations going around the village. Their forefathers had made a pact at the war front to protect and preserve each other, and renewed this before the gods every anniversary of their triumph. This cannot be, Maazi Ndondo said vehemently. He was the only elder who saw the war that still lived in Umuadi. The ruling elders had gone to seek his counsel to manage the issue. When he appears before you, let him swear by Ali, the god of the land. If he is innocent, he and his family will live. If not, as long as they touch the soil, they all will die. The elders took the counsel to heart. So on the day Maazi Okemini appeared before the elders, people gathered, ready for the drama that would unfold. But Maazi Okemini showed no fear. He did as he was told by the elders and went home. 8 market days passed and nothing happened. According to the oaths, within 8 market days, the men in the family will begin to die. However, nothing happened to Maazi Okemini and his household. The elders therefore concluded that whatever ailed the other 4 families in the 5 lineage allegiance had nothing to do with Maazi Okemini and his household. The turn of events from the oath swearing raised a new rumor. The gods were punishing them for an unknown sin, the people said. For this, the families, their well-wishers, and the ruling elders consulted Mawanyi, the seer. Not knowing the seer's contribution to the death toll and misfortune, they begged her to intercede for them, offered empty prayers while secretly relishing their suffering. Then came the night of the festival of ancestral spirits, a night when the veil between the worlds was thin and spirits would come and go from the world of men as they please. The dark spirits Mawai bargained with came to claim their due. She welcomed them, thinking they had been allies and the blood of her enemies was enough sacrifice. However, revenge is a double-edged sword. The spirits had no intentions of stopping, not now, not ever. The real prize was that Mawai would remain their conduit and always bring souls to them. While the villagers danced and sang under the moonlight, the spirits emerged from the shadows, not for what was left of those Mawai had marked for destruction, but also for Mawai herself. It was on this night that the spirits took her to the kingdom beneath the forbidden river Mpempe. Here, she was shown the other side of the deal and assigned some of the bleeders to work with her. If she wished to live her days, she must obey the dark queen of River Mpempe. Mawai was hesitant, but the voices of the spirits that made a deal with her pierced her spirit and soul, like swords, as they tore at her, demanding more souls. She screamed, but she knew no one would come to her rescue. She was in another world, a world where every mortal that visits it never remains the same, save the gods help him. When day broke, Mawai found herself in her hut. She was filled with dread. What have I unleashed? What have I done? She asked herself. Despite her repentance and worry, there was no going back. In the evening, as she poured wine by the shrine to thank the gods of the land for a successful celebration of the festival of ancestral spirits, the gods warned her not to stretch her hands against the people of Umuadi, as they would not stand by and let her misuse her gift against their own people. They had been silent as those she harmed had committed a grave evil, killing their own. The law of the land was that such people be punished by death or banishment. Mawai, not knowing how to prove they did it, had taken the law into her own hands, and the gods protected her. Despite the warning, Mawai had gone too far and couldn't stop herself. She wanted to leave, so she decided to set her eyes on those related to the ones that hurt her parents. The family of Mazo Kemini was her target. She decided that going after Mazo Kemini and his lineage would not count as offending the gods of the land. Mawai began executing her plans to wipe out the name of Mazo Kemini, and misfortune followed the household. When Mazo Kemini realized that this may be the same revenge that destroyed his friends and their lineage, he prayed to the gods to save him and his family. He was not a party to the death of Mawai's parents. When Mbala had told them he wanted the land that belonged to Odum, he had opposed him. He had asked his friend not to covet what belonged to others, especially the struggling families of the land. That land was the only one Odum had to cultivate to take care of his family. If you took the land, how would Odum and his family survive? He had said. His friends teased him for being soft-hearted and explained the value of the land. On the night they bound and tortured Odum and Uremma, his wife, Okemini had secretly fed the couple and tried to sneak them out of the place where his friends had bound and hidden them. The other four found out his plan, and when he was about to take Odum and Uremma out, Mbala hit him on the head with a club and he passed out. They also left him somewhere along the path to the farmlands. His son had seen him lying in his pool of blood the next day and took him to the healer. He slept the whole day, and when he awoke the next day, he heard the news that Uremma and Odum were found dead, killed by mysterious powers. He could not prove his friends did it, so he did not pursue the case. When he confronted them, they said, "Be thankful you were not touched by the mysterious powers as well." He knew he was missing something. He had his hunch that they did it, but he had no proof until the death toll began. Mazo Kemini prayed to the gods to spare his people, to keep their family name alive. He knew the seer would not help him. He already tried to explain what he knew to her, but she was full of bitterness and hate. The day Mazo Kemini breathed his last, he still had only one prayer in his mouth. May the name of the family not die on Umuadi, he said, and closed his eyes forever. After the passing of Mazo Kemini, Mmawanyi's parents appeared to her in a dream. They told her the same story that Mazo Kemini had previously told her. He is not your enemy, her mother had said. He did try everything he could to save us. We watched him get harmed trying to save us, her father had added. When Mmawanyi woke up, she knew she had crossed the line. She had harmed the people she should not have. The only surviving members of Mazo Kemini's family were his daughter, her son, and the son's wife. Mmawanyi had given the granddaughter-in-law water from River Mpimpe in the place of a sacred water when they came to seek the help of the gods to conceive. For this, Mmawanyi knew that the gods of the land would not forgive her. Yet, she justified her deeds to herself, saying that Mazo Kemini had failed to save her parents, which makes him culpable. Deep within her, she knew the main reason she had to keep going was the agreement she had entered with the dark spirits and the oath she swore under River Mpimpe.